9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1, go.
The 9/11 Memorial Run and Gun is a centerfire biathlon where competitors carry all of their gear, rifle, pistol, all their ammo, anything they need to complete the course over either a 5K or a 10K long, basically a trail run. Every single shooting stage is a scenario based on actual history from the 5th Special Forces Group.
It's here to honor the Special Forces and those who have fallen in battle and just those who gave their lives for our country. And it's also an event so that civilians can experience just a teeny taste, I guess, of some of the things that Special Forces train for and things like that. Obviously, it's much more light, but you get to run around and you get different stages and you use your mind, you solve puzzles, so it's a little different than just going to the range and shooting at a static target.
Your rifle must stay unloaded unless you are actively shooting. When you arrive at a stage, the RO will ask to see your empty chamber and empty magazine well. If he finds a round in your chamber, your match is over. No questions asked, no do-overs. The RO will also check your rifle to verify it is empty before you leave the stage. Even though the ROs are checking you, it is your responsibility to maintain an empty rifle. No excuses are acceptable for this violation.
So we're running this today. This is the upper league games. So this is their 5,500 upper. That's super lightweight. So I just went ahead and built a lightweight lower. I had an extra lower in this. I ordered a couple lightweight
just
parts.
The Anderson.
Yeah, just the Anderson lower.
Yeah.
And so the facts and fees.
I'm going to see. I love facts and fees.
I had a civilian run and gun here, a centerfire biathlon, in March of 2017. We had several attendees from the Special Forces at Fort Campbell. They liked it so much they wanted to put on their own version of the match with their own spin. So I work with my counterparts from the 5th Group. They come up with the scenarios and the ideas behind what they want to present here, and I turn that into something safe civilians can do.
This is my first time doing it, so we'll have to see how it goes, but I'm really excited, really honored to be here. I have people who are very close to my heart who are Special Forces veterans, and so I just hope to honor them through this experience.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys are off.
You waiting to shoot? Where am I going?
So my dad just went down there, and so I'm waiting behind the truck because he said he doesn't want me to be. He wants me to be surprised by seeing anything.
Yep.
So he's going, and then I'm waiting for him to give me the go, and then I'll just go down the tube.
Okay.
This is stage 1. It's called the Valley of Death. This is designed to simulate a battle that was in Iraq some time ago, whereby a Green Beret raised his head over a dune and caught a round to the Kevlar helmet. And with blood streaming down his face, he engaged numerous enemy combatants advancing on him. So the way we have the stage set up to simulate that as best we can is the shooter is going to proceed through a series of holes, and from each hole there'll be a series of targets, both steel and cardboard, advancing at him. And he's got to engage all the targets from far to near. He then proceeds through, and at some point when he finishes engaging the rifle targets, he then proceeds to a series of pistol steel targets as well.
Safely holstered.
At that point, he'll actually have to call in a medevac to account for himself being injured.
Headquarters, this is Kiefner. I need medevac to my location.
Alpha 3 Charlie, medevac request received. You have medevac inbound.
To simulate the fact that he had this injury with, blood streaming down his face and literally shot in the head, on the start buzzer, surprise to the shooters, of course.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
They get smacked in the back of the head and a cup of water blasted in their face to give them some taste of what it was like in Iraq. And it's a lot of fun.
What about the water to the face?
Wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't either. I was like, son of a.
Well, we just got finished with stage 1.
What do you think, Brennan?
It's good. It's solid. People judging you though the whole time.
I did not expect that cup of water to the face.
If I remember right, Cowboy Town's pretty far out.
Yeah. Yep. 14:15.
Okay, unsling your rifle.
All right.
Mount the bed of the truck.
Stage 2 involves a much more complex scenario where the shooter starts in the back of a truck. As the truck advances on the target, the shooter has to shoot from the moving vehicle and engage a target about 100 yards away. They dismount the truck and perform what's called a successive bounding maneuver, where you've got teammates working together to cover each other while the other one moves. So one is shooting, the other one's moving, they catch up, the other one is shooting, and the other one is moving. They do this 3 times to get to a barn. Throw a grenade, and finish off 5 guys up close with a rifle. Airstrike and receive instructions on how to move to the next stage via radio. Again, shoot, move, and communicate.
Headquarters need airstrike at Cowboy Town.
Roger, Dodge 6 is rifle. Break contact and move to support 5x5 at Cave Complex, half kilometer west of your position. Receive target packet from Abu Johnson. How copy?
Receive target pack from Abu Johnson. Copy.
Good due west. There's the sun.
Kind of helps we know where the cave is.
And thank you. If you've got packs, you can stage them. You will need your pistol. You will need a light not on your pistol. A light separate from your pistol to navigate in the cave. Let me read you the intel.
Stage 3 is something pretty unique to Rock Castle Shooting Center. We take them underground into a cave in complete darkness. So they have to navigate about 100 yards through a cave on their own, very narrow, winding passageways. Once they get to the start point, we make them extinguish all their lights, and it's only lit up by green glow sticks along the way.
Much deeper than last time. All right, sorry. We caught up.
No, it's been cracked.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to use a light past here. You're not allowed to use your light past
No
here.
lights beyond this point, so we're going. Huh? That's all in the dark?
That's even better.
To really simulate a true low light scenario. They can't use any flashlights, any red lights. They have to just find their way through the cave lit only by green glow sticks. Engage 7 targets along the way and pick up valuable intel at the end that they'll use later in the course.
Scott?
Last name?
Kiefner? Sorry, I gotta pull up my weight time. I'm trying not to
What's
look.
your weight time?
Stand by. Come on. 17:46.
All right, Scott. By my light, we're going to go ahead and walk back this way.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to walk back to the glow sticks. Okay.
Right.
Oh, and you got your you need a hostage too. I'm sorry. You need one of these hostages on the ground.
You want me to grab it or you want to?
So these green lights on the ground, those are navigation. If you look up here, see the glow stick with the box? That's your shooting box. So you will see both navigation lights and glow sticks with shooting boxes. Only shoot from the shooting box. On the buzzer, you will move forward without using any light while manhandling your POW in front of you as cover and neutralize all enemy targets. There are no friendlies in the cave. The targets are white. They'll see a glow from the glow stick. It takes 5 hits in the A or C zone to neutralize. Any questions?
5 hits, A or Z.
Yep, let me drop my light. Any questions?
No.
Okay, shooter ready? Stand by.
Yep. We're gonna need a real medevac to get Scott out of here.
Just let that be a cool shot for him.
Yep. Thanks. Makes you feel any better? I had all 5 failure to neutralize.
Stage 4, they get to, and it's basically a mind game. One thing Green Berets are known for is their intelligence. If you ask any of them, about half of them speak 5 languages. A lot of people think they're just dumb grunts who, you know, shoot things and run fast and are strong, but they're extremely intelligent. So we really wanted to focus on that. At the back of the cave, you picked up an enemy radio frequency, if you were paying attention. 6-digit number.
Radio frequency.
Do it.
I pulled out my phone, just took pictures of all the intel on the radio frequency.
Oh, I got her here. 154-620.
At the next stage, stage 4, they had to put that to work and engage targets through a VTAC board. It means puts you in awkward rifle positions at anywhere from 100 to 300 yards in a certain order to match that frequency. So they had to not only catch the frequency in the cave, remember it, and then put it to use while making difficult rifle hits in a certain order. It's very mentally challenging and physically challenging stage there.
So I got up there, started to engage my threads, did pretty good, but then I ran into a little bit of a hiccup in the fact that when I'm running my gun, I didn't take into effect that this didn't stick out very far from the end. So I go to put my hand out and I'm trying to turn the gun sideways, so I just shoot through a sideways port. So I turned the gun sideways, and that put this with my finger over the top, put it right in line with the blast port. So as you can see here, totally blew the finger off my glove and blew a little bit of my finger up here, but no real damage, just kind of like a lesson learned. But in the process of that, I got it good one time, and that's just one of the things that, because my light wouldn't let me push it forward enough, so I got stuck here and I tried to jam it in there, jam it through that hole just a little bit more, and that's why I ended up doing damage to my finger. But then didn't learn my lesson, so I got another handful of blast on the other finger, because I had my hand up underneath it trying to protect this finger, trying to put my hand up underneath it. I ended up blasting through this part of my glove too, melted the glove to my finger here. There's a lot of stuff to learn when it comes to these things. So you always think you're combat ready, you go out on the range, you fire a couple rounds, you have a lot of fun, but then you get out to stuff like this and you realize, okay, I'm not as proficient as I thought.
All right, you're good to go. Back in
Hard lesson learned on that one.
Oh, wow, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
On the way out of there, we had what's called establishing bona fides, where Green Berets have to meet up with strangers in the middle of the Middle East. Nobody knows anybody, but they have to meet up with these people, establish their credentials, and go on to do some task. How they do that is with bona fides. So for example, today, we have just a couple key words you have to work into a creative sentence. So if the competitor notices a man in a red hat, that's his clue. Find the man in the red hat, make up some sentence with the words licorice and red in it, and good things will happen. That's all we tell them. If they notice the right guy, they get a free ride to the next stage in the back of a truck. If they walk by that guy, they have to run that half a mile. So it's a big benefit to really pay attention and put intelligence to work.
First thing, is your pistol hot?
Yes.
Okay, mag's good?
Mag good.
Okay, all right. We are using this bay, the next bay over, and the third bay over for this stage, okay? This one, bad day in Baghdad. Okay, on the buzzer, search the last 3 bays to find and neutralize the HVT using only your pistol with a single shot to the center of his head. The number of the house the HVT is hiding in was given in order along the trail.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you're right.
214.
214.
Stage 5, there's multiple bays. and there's multiple structures built, and they all have address numbers. So you have to go to the address number that was part of the intel that you got along the trail about halfway through the race. So it was just a couple numbers on the side of the road, and you just memorize them, and we wrote them down, so it was pretty easy to get to that. So I ran straight to the first house. House full of bad guys. Engaged all of them with 5 shots per target on paper. Wasn't quite sure what to do after that, because I was like, well, do I keep going to the other houses, or wasn't quite sure, so I just started booking to the other houses, ran to others, and started engaging other threats, and then ran over to the next bay. You go in there and you're trying to shoot as fast as you can, and then they got an artillery simulator that goes off right beside you, or a mortar simulator. It goes off pretty close, so it rattles you for a second, and then they tell you you're hit, which of course you would normally catch shrapnel or something like that from a mortar or something, RPG going off near your proximity. And then they tell you you're hit, you have to get down and then crawl. So I'm trying to crawl across and it's some really rough gravel up there, embedded up in there. The whole range is just hard packed gravel. So I'm trying to crawl, but when I start to crawl, thing I forget, shooting hands right hand, support hands my left, and so I'm trying to crawl with the finger that I just blew up. So I'm trying to crawl through the dirt and make it through there. I'm sure it looks pretty funky with the way I was doing it, but I was trying to go as fast as I could and still keep your weapon pointed in a safe direction. So I fought through it as best I could and made it to the end.
Go ahead, holster. You're good. All right, you're safe. Go and get your gear.
That's it. Okay, sir, are you the one that got the powder burns? How are you okay?
Yeah.
Do you need anything?
No, I'll clean it up when I'm done.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, that was trying to. That's the hand I was crawling on. Well, good stuff. Way to finish it.
But you did hit a no-shoot.
Oh, did I?
And that's the last stage for the 5K. Then they run it in and finish the whole 5K course.
Who wants to see it?
One thing that's been really interesting about biathlon is it brings out a whole different clientele instead of the normal competitive shooters. For whatever reason, people who shy away from 3-gun or 2-gun or USPSA or other sports, they're just enthralled with this idea of running through the woods with guns and doing these real life-based things. And we have so many new people who have never done any kind of competition before come out and do this crazy thing that we do.
So you know we're gonna get some flack later and be like, what, you had a map?